They're saying here, a transport company takes out a loan of 800,000 Rand. So we see that it's a loan of 800,000 Rand. So immediately we need to think, remember if it's a loan, we're going to use present value formula, and 800,000 is going to be the P value, right? The amount of that loan that we've taken out. The company calculates the sale of bus tickets based on a budget where they plan to repay 24,000 Rand at the end of each month. So guys, what are they giving us there? What is the 24,000 Rand? What letter in our formula? The X, all right? They're paying that amount every month to repay the loan. The interest charged is 10.5% per annum compounded monthly, all right? So that's I, obviously. Calculate the number of months that it will take to repay the loan. So they're asking us for the number of payments, basically, right? Which is N. Okay, so we're going to write down that formula. I'm just going to write it again, the present value formula, and then we're going to fill in all of the values that we are given or that we have been given, and we're solving for N. All right, so P, just going to zoom in a bit here. I hope this is correct. That is right, hey? 1 minus bracket to the power of negative N over I. All right, P is what they gave us. That's the loan amount. That's 800,000. Equal to the X value. Guys, usually we calculate X, right? I think we're used to doing that. In this case, they've given us the X value. That is the monthly payment, so 24,000. Bracket 1 minus, bracket 1 plus. The interest rate, 10.5% compounded monthly. So 0,105 over 12. Or if you prefer, remember you can also write 10,5 over 1,200, 1,200. That's also fine. Close bracket, now to the power of negative N. Alright, that is what we need to calculate, the number of months. We close our square bracket, and that is again over the interest rate in whichever way you prefer to write it. Okay, now we need to solve for N, guys. I don't know if you remember how we solve for N. N is the exponent, so we're going to have to use logs, right? But before we can use logs, we must first get everything else away from it. We are supposed to just end up with... What are you doing? You just gave me a very strange look. Alright, so this we want to end up with a bracket or something to the power of N equal to a number. Okay, before we use logs. So what is the first thing that we're going to get rid of, that we're going to move across? What do you guys think? The denominator. Yes, good. Alright, so we're going to say... I'm going to show you how to do this log. I'll show you how to do this one, yes. This is going to be a simple log once we get to that point. Alright, so, sorry, let me do it in blue. 7,000, is that why you gave me that look? Plus, alright, so... when you are doing this in a test or exam, you don't have to write every single step like I'm going to now. But I think it's just a good idea for this example. Let's do every single step. Okay, so the first thing that we're doing is we are taking that across and we are multiplying by it. Next, we're going to get rid of the 24,000. Okay, so I have a 7,000 here. The 24,000, I'm going to move to that side. I'm going to divide by it. So on the calculator, I'm dividing by 24,000. Guys, it comes up as 7 over 24 or this. You can decide what you want to write. 7 over 24, I don't think there's a problem with writing that. You can write 0,29. It's up to you. Alright, so I'll just say here 7 over 24 is equal to, and now I can leave off my square brackets, right? Because I'm just left with that whole square bracket. So I'm going to say 1 minus bracket 1 plus, hello, what's up? Okay.
The extra time people need my maths exam.
All the grade 10 portfolios are up there. Okay, are we fine up until this point? What do I need to do next? Take over the 1. And I'm going to minus 1, right? So on the calculator, I'm saying minus 1. And I'm getting negative 17 over 24. Or you can write the decimal if you want to. Now guys, when I move this 1 over, please note that there's still a minus in front of what's left, right? So it's negative and then this whole bracket. I'm just quickly going to move the next question down a bit. Okay, now if I have a negative on both sides, what can I do? Cancel out. But now guys, remember that on the calculator, that negative is still there. Right? So now you have an option of, you can either just type in 17 over 24 when you use it again, or what can I do on the calculator to get rid of a negative? Times by or divide by negative 1. Okay, either one of those two, just to get rid of that negative. Now guys, this is now an exponential equation. Now, in order to solve an exponential equation, we have two methods that we can use. We can either make bases the same, or we can use logs. Now guys, using logs will always work. Making the bases the same will not always work, right? Because you can't actually always get your bases to the same thing. Because if we're looking at this equation here, I need to write this as 1 plus 0,105 over 12 to the power of something, which is very difficult to do. Okay, so in this case, I'm not going to make my bases the same. I'm not going to try to do that. I'm just going to work with logs straight away. Now, when we are working with logs, the exponent becomes the subject. So negative n becomes the subject of the equation. We are using logs to solve for the exponent, so the exponent is going to become the subject. Then you're going to write log. The base of the exponent becomes the base of the log. So 1 plus 0,105 over 12. And then what number is left? 17 over 24. So I'm just going to write on the side here, exponent becomes subject. Base of exponent becomes base of log. And now we're going to type that into the calculator. So we're going to type log. So press the log button with the two blocks. Then in that first block, you're going to type that whole bracket, 1 plus 0,105 over 12. And then you press your arrow until you get to the second block. And there you're going to type either answer or 17 over 24. Now, this is what comes up. And now you'll probably get a fright because you'll be like, oh, I'm solving for n and n can't be negative. But guys, it's negative n. Remember the exponent in that formula was negative n. So negative n is negative 39,58. All right? So n is going to be positive 39,582 whatever. Right, decimal. Now guys, what this means is that actually you're going to have how many payments? Am I going to have, or will the loan be paid off in full after 39 payments? No, all right? So there are actually going to be 40 payments, yes. So I'm just going to make a little squiggly equal sign, and I'm going to write here 40 months. Now this is actually 39 full payments and one smaller payment. And in the next question, we are going to calculate how much that smaller payment is. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm using the log on my calculator, but I'm getting a different answer.
Let's see. I got the same.
Mine is not. Am I doing something?
What?
This is the wrong log.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that'll do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. All right, are there any questions on this, guys? Okay, guys, we need to focus, please. There's a lot of other stuff going on. All right, so what we've done now is not actually new, right? You should have been able to do questions like this in your exam where you're solving for n, where you're using logs. But now the question that comes after, I'm just quickly going to move it back up again. It is printed on your page. Calculate the final payment on the loan, which is less than 24,000 Rand. Right, so we said now that we have 39 full payments and then we have one final payment that is actually going to be less than 24,000 Rand. Now guys, the method for this, I'm going to write down the two steps that we're going to follow. Firstly, we are going to calculate how much we actually still owe after the last full payment. So calculate balance on loan after the last full payment. So for us, that's going to be after 39 payments. And then, guys, that is actually what you owe exactly after the 39th payment was made. But you're only going to pay, thank you, you're only going to make the next payment a whole month after that. So once we know how much we owe after the 39th payment, we must then still add 1 month's interest to it. Okay, so we're going to find the balance. That's what we owe exact or directly after the 39th payment was made. But the 40th payment is only made in a month's time. So in that month, we're still going to have to pay some interest. Okay, so then we're going to add 1 month's interest to the balance. And for this, we are going to use the normal compound interest formula. So there's A equals P bracket 1 plus I to the power of N. Okay, so we're quickly going to do this calculation for this question. Balance outstanding, we've practiced that a few times, right? That is that long formula that we use. So firstly, we're going to say balance. This, obviously, the 1 and 2 that we wrote here, this will not be a part of your answer, right? This is just a summary of what we have to do. So we're going to say balance after 39 payments All right, we practiced this balance quite a few times, I think twice on Friday. We used this formula twice or three times. So that is where you use the normal compound interest formula first. So this one. So you take your loan amount, which was what for this question? Was it 800,000? The amount that we borrowed, hey? 800,000, all right, so we start with that. Bracket 1 plus. The interest rate was 0,105 over 12, or 10,5 over 1200. To the power of 39. Guys, remember when we're finding the balance on a loan, we always take as our n value is after the amount of time when we're finding that balance. So if it's after 39 payments, we use 39 for n. And then we're going to minus the future value of all the payments. So x is 24,000. So this is now the future value formula that I'm using. Not the present value formula that we used for the first question, right? The other one. So we're going to say bracket 1 plus, again, the same interest rate, to the power of 39 again, minus 1 over that same interest rate. So we use the same n value for both parts of this formula. All right, I'm quickly going to work this out. Okay, I am getting a balance of 13,884, comma, it's 199, so let's say comma 20. But I'm going to keep the unrounded value in my calculator. So that is, guys, when the 39th payment has been made, this is what we owe on that loan. But because we don't make that payment immediately, we only pay that amount. We're going to pay the final amount only in a month's time. We must still add a month's interest to this. Okay. So now we're going to say, therefore, final payment and like I said, we're using our compound interest formula for this. So the amount that we're starting with now, the p value here, is this balance that we're still owing. So it's oh, sorry. 13,884, comma 20, and then 1 plus interest rate. And this is now for 1 month, right? So on the calculator, please just use the answer button. We're not going to type in this comma 20 now. We're using answer. Then we're going to put in that bracket. And the final answer is, I'll move this down just now, 14,005 Rand and 69 cents. It's comma 686. Okay, any questions, guys? That's just basically 2 steps that you're going to have to memorize. Okay, when they're asking for the final payment, and they'll be very clear, they'll say calculate the value of the final payment on the loan, all right, or the last payment, I suppose they can also say, same thing, right? It means the same thing. So then you must please memorize this. It's a heritage thing. It's like cultural, stuff, dances, I don't know. Gumboot dance, I think, and music. And Alright, are there any questions on this, guys? Okay, I would like you to do these questions now that are listed there. This is your last maths homework ever.
Ever? What about next time?
Well, I mean, this is the last new work. So the only homework that I'll give you next term is like work on past paper questions or do Siavula. But this is like the last time that you're practicing something completely new for the first time in maths.
I can't believe it.
You can just run.